Good afternoon, CFM. This is Coach Matt with our Monday workout. We're going to hit our next sequence of kamikaze squats today, finishing up with a very short metabolic finisher if you feel like it, because the kamikaze squats can kind of take a lot out of you, okay? So let's begin with the warm-up. We're going to start with 3 rounds through 12 calories, your choice, road bike or ski. You're going to need a bench and a band for the warm-up. And I want you to start off with a door frame stretch. So why are we stretching arms and shoulders when we're about to do back squats? And the purpose of this is that the better position I can get into with this bar behind my neck, because my shoulders and my chest are opened up a little bit more, the better my grip will be on the bar and the better my squats will be when I go to doing them, if I can have a more stable platform with the bar on my shoulder. Okay, so this is our door frame stretch. Make sure your elbow is higher than your shoulder, not below your shoulder, or it'll really just stretch the deltoid. What we want to hit is the pecs and these muscles that prevent us from getting the bar into a good position behind our neck, right? Just 15 seconds, not a super long one. Next one is a static hold, and this is really to warm up the tissues around the knee, but also our quads. And so a couple things on this Spanish squat is that it is an isometric hold, meaning that like you should be in a static stress position for the whole 20 seconds, right? So I've got the band behind my knees on each side of my legs, and I'm going way, way back, right? You gotta get a lot of tension on that band in order to support your body weight. And then the goal is a parallel position, right? So my thighs are parallel to the ground, not up higher and not down lower, but at the parallel position, which is usually pretty close to your sticking point. And then the further you lean back, the more you'll feel this in the quads. So if I need to take some pressure off, I lean forward a little bit. If I can stand it and make it harder, I'll push my shoulders back, all right? But 20 seconds in that static position, your quads should be very, very fired up by the time you finish that. Next one is just some bench high knee step overs. Purpose of these is just the reciprocal motor pattern, right? So when we're squatting, we're having the knee bent and the hips flexed and we're pushing away, right? So usually what that means is we have to also wake up the reciprocal movement pattern, right? Which is pulling the knee up, right? So pulling the knee away from the ground, that works on hip flexors, lower abdominals, and it helps to keep the strength balanced across the hip joint, right? So now that we've got all the warm-up stuff done, we're gonna set up our back squats. Since we did kamikaze squats last week, I would like for you to try to progress it slightly from last week. And one of the ways that we progress it is by adding total reps to the quantity. So last week was 50, this week we're doing 60. If you wanna do exactly the same weight that you did last time, that is fine. Ideally, you would know how big your first set was from last week and try to beat that by a rep or two if you possibly can, right? But anyway you do it, it's gonna be 60 total reps in the 55 to 65% of your max. And remember that if your max is heavier, I want you down at the lower end of the percentage range. If your max is lighter, I want you at the higher end of the percentage range. But when we do these sets, they are not to failure. They are to 1 or 2 reps shy of failure. So you need to pay attention to the speed at which you're lifting and know the impending signs of muscle failure, okay? So I get my bar on my back, I'm doing my squats, you know, the first 4 or 5 don't feel like anything, you know, 6, 7, 8, maybe I'm starting to slow down a little bit. When I get near failure, it's a slow push, I'm pushing as hard as I can, and my muscles just don't have the energy in them to contract at the same rate that they did when I was fresh. And that's when you know that failure is about to happen, and that's about when you should put the bar back in the rack. When you put the bar back in the rack, you steer back at the clock. Exactly 1 minute rest between when the bar goes into the rack and when the bar comes back out of the rack, okay? Restricted rest interval on the kamikaze squats means that you're not gonna be able to do the same number of reps on the second set as you did on the first set. And that is the point of this, is to get close to failure, and then close to failure, and then close to failure, and then close to failure, and repeating that in a very compressed time format. It's an extremely potent way to build squat strength, leg strength, core strength, all the stuff that the squats do for us, all right? So that is the format for today. They don't take very long, but they can really take it out of you. So keep that in mind as we go into the next component, which is just a short finisher. It is calories on the bike and unweighted, just body weight step ups onto a bench or a box, all right? When we do the step ups, I don't have a height listed on the step ups, but I would like for your knee to be no higher than your hip. So think of it as like parallel step ups or whatever box or bench or anything, any object. If it's a stair step, it gets you up that high, that's the right amount. And try not to touch the box with the other leg. So as I'm stepping up with my left leg, I'm trying not to touch it with my right leg and then all the way back down. And then switching, right leg, try not to touch it with my left leg and then all the way back down. Bite calories are just bite calories, and we're alternating back and forth. That is a 4-time workout, but again, just play it the way you feel it when you finish the kamikaze squats, because they can really like just suck the life out of you because of the restricted rest interval and the proximity to failure that you did multiple times, right? It's a big help to keep notes on your kamikaze squats in terms of the sizes of the sets. When we do the kamikaze squats, you should be looking for high teens, low 20s even on the first set, and then that decaying down to single digits by the time you get to the end of the kamikaze squats, right? If you get more than about 25 reps on your first set, it's probably not heavy enough, right? If you didn't get to 10, it's probably a little too heavy, right? That's it for today. I hope you guys have a great one. I'll see you on Tuesday.